Aloha. I'm staying for the next few days in an area a little higher up the mountain called Kula, so you will see a little bit different background behind me. And today I want to play with having the experience of really connecting to the center of our bodies, our bellies, with a sense of spaciousness. And for this practice, I'd like you to have 2 blocks and a strap, and just the willingness to let yourself exhale a little longer and allow yourself to feel what arises in the belly. So let's start by sitting. Sit bones ground, spine lengthen a little. And as you exhale, let your belly soften. So I know for many people, there's a lot that we hold here, aside from our organs, but a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of often judgment about this part of our body. I find bellies fascinating in many respects, but especially in that throughout the day, they change your shape, they change your size, they change how they feel, based on, of course, where we are in our cycle of digestion, also hormones, the level of tension we hold. The belly is really constantly changing and fluid, so it shouldn't always look one way, and we may want to connect with it, disconnect with it differently at different times, but right now, let yourself feel it. Let your jaw soften. And just notice when you breathe. For most people, the belly is going to move. Okay, and then gently let your eyes open. And grab your block, and we're going to lie down on the block in such a way that allows the lower belly to have a little release. So this is not bridge pose. At first it might look like bridge pose. Bridge pose is when we really do a lot to open in the chest. And here, what I'd like you to do is lie down on your back, lift your pelvis off the ground, and then place the block so it's kind of right at the rim of your sacrum, or really kind of just where you feel the tailbone begins. And then let your pelvis drop in the direction of your navel. So you're almost creating a sense of a hammock in your lower back. So it's allowing for a release of some of the muscles right at the front of the belly. I find this really relaxing. When I do this, I like to take a nice long exhalation. And then let the inhalation be gentle, but let the exhalation be really nice and long. Now we're going to be here for a little bit. If you find that this position just doesn't work for you, for whatever reason, remove the block and lie on your back. Take your heels wider than your toes, let your knees come together. Now you might choose to stay here. You find this really feels good. Or you might extend your legs. So if you do extend your legs, you want to be able to be here without any tension whatsoever. If there's any tension, especially at the top of the thighs, please bend your knees. So I'll tell you that for myself, it was a long time before I was able to do this. And I wanted to, but when I did, I would get tension here. Having to do with things I wrote about with hip problems in my Trikonasana blog, if you want to check that out. But now it feels really good, but it took some time. So if you feel any tension gripping, bend your knees here. Otherwise, stay here with the legs extended, allowing them to release outward, which often in many of the yoga classes I've attended, we never just let things release like this. We're always active, but I'm going to ask you to let it go. This is more things I learned through nutritious movement approach to body alignment, whole body health. Take the time to exhale. notice after you've been here for a little bit that your breath changes. You may want every so often to take a bigger inhalation, a longer exhalation. Allow that to happen. If at any time you feel like your legs are straight and you want to bend your knees, go ahead and do that. We'll be here for just a few more breaths. And then go ahead and release the block. Put it off to the side. Put this out of the way. Take a moment. Heels wide on your toes. Let your knees come together. And then just very briefly, check out how it feels to bring the soles of your feet together, your knees wide. I know for some people this feels great, for some people it feels strange. If it feels great, stay here. If it feels strange, bring your knees back up. We're going to come back to this in a bit, but not quite yet. So now come to a position where your heels and whole feet are as wide as a mat. Feet are pretty much parallel to each other. Take your arms out to your side. And then as you exhale, take your right knee over to the left. Lengthen through the top of the right thigh. Not as far as you can go, maybe halfway. And then come back up and go over to the other side. And come back up. And now go just a little bit side to side with the intention of the movement of the legs gently flowing into the lower belly. So when you move the legs, it's going to move the pelvis. And as the pelvis moves, you get a little movement in the lower belly. Gently side to side. And then make it a little bigger. So what we really want to do is to make sure that we're not skipping someplace in the middle. We're turning it into a roll, but it's really a nice twist. So as you go a little bit more, the twist rides up the spine. Up into, through the rib cage, and then eventually up into the neck, so that when you're truly connected from the base of your spine to the crown of your head, there's a movement, a spiraling, that when the knees go to the right, there's a transition in the upper body, including your neck. Turn your head goes to the left. The same thing happens in the other direction. Legs go to the left. The upper body, neck, head go to the right. So now the next time you take your knees to the left, keep them there. Lengthen through the top of your right thigh. Nice full breaths. And then come back up. And over to the other side. And come back up. Wiggle the fingers a little. Bring that into the wrists. Reach your wrists up towards the ceiling. Circle them one direction. And then circle them the other direction. Take your right ankle over your left thigh. Get that external rotation in the right thigh. To open up your hands, one finger at a time. Pinky, fourth, third, second, second, third, fourth. Pinky. It's assuming the thumb is number one. Back and forth a few times. Place the right foot on the ground. Do the same with the left leg, ankle, left ankle over the thigh. You continue to move your fingers. Spiraling the left thigh away from center without shifting in the hip bones. And then release that. And now, take your hands onto your lower belly. And bring your fingers to your pubic bone. And you actually, let's do it this way first. Take your fingers to your lower rib cage and just draw a line straight down. Give a little pressure from the lower ribs to the top of your navel. A little bit of a belly massage. I'm not going to do a lot, but a little bit. Do that 3 times. From the lower rib cage to the navel. And then go to the right side of the rib cage, from the right side of the rib cage to the navel. You might feel different levels of tension or pressure. You can back into the fingers. Let's do the same thing on the left. Diagonally down. And then come back to center one time, from the center to the navel. Okay, and then in reverse directions, take your fingers to the pubic bone and draw up from the pubic bone to your navel, just to the bottom tip of your navel. Do that 3 times. We're just doing the same thing, but opposite directions. And then from your right hip point up to your navel. And left hip point to your navel. 3 times. It's kind of a piece of a belly massage I like to do. This is just the shorter version. One more time from the pubic bone up to the navel. And if there's some spots you want to wiggle in a little, go ahead and do that. And then last piece, start at your right hip point, slide your hands up to the rib cage, go across the bottom of the rib cage and down to your left hip point. Lift your fingers and do that 2 more times. From the right hip point up, across and down. 1 more time. Up, across and down. Okay, so now we're going to begin to rock the pelvis a little forward and back. Kind of like cat and cow tilts on the ground. So in one direction, your back is going to arch. The other direction, your back will press into the ground. Back and forth. And then bring that into a circle. You might think of it as like a clock. So when your sacrum presses into the ground, you arch your back, that is 6 o'clock. When you go the other direction, your lower back presses into the ground, that's 12 o'clock. So we're going to imagine 12 o'clock at the rib cage and 6 o'clock at the pubic bone. And then circle around. If that image of clocks and numbers doesn't work for you, it doesn't really matter. It's just an image. You might find another one, but circle around to get to all the different time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. directions. Okay, now time for a little tetrasana. Move your arms and legs around a little bit. Slow the range of motion. And then roll over. Come on up. Let's come on to all fours. Onto your hands and knees. Take a moment. Let your jaw release. Exhale. You let your belly hang out. It's not easy. I'm going to try. Let your belly hang out. Woo. So I'm doing this on camera. You don't have to do it on camera, but let your belly hang out. Good. And then draw your sit bones down. Arch your back up. Just a little bit. Not a full cat tilt, but just drawing the sit bones. Draw your belly a little up towards your navel, especially on the exhalation. Exhale through the mouth. As you exhale through the mouth, allow the breath to come out of your belly. And then let's lift the sit bones and do a few cat and cow tilts. Moving one part of the spine at a time, shoulders away from your ears as you lift your head. And then exhale. Coming back. Back and forth at your own pace. Here, come to neutral. Neutral, tuck your toes under. Extend one arm at a time and lean back. Root down with your thumb and forefinger. Wiggle your jaw a little side to side. Now, if it's downward facing dog feels like, or if it feels like downward facing dog would feel good, come on into that. Otherwise, stay in puppy pose or come into child's pose. So if you do come in downward facing dog, just bend one knee, bend the opposite knee, move around a little bit. And then a few scarabasins, shoulder blades towards each other and away from each other. Bring in a little twist. Take your left hand, actually take your right hand a little over to the left. Take your left hand on your sacrum and then begin to open up the chest into a gentle spiral. Let that travel into the belly. Exhale, unwind. Same thing, other side. Left hand comes down. This is the right. Come back down. Now you're going to lie down on your back again. Oh, actually not yet, sorry. Before we do that, let's do a few circles with the pelvis here. So we did forward and back with cat-cow tilts. Now let's circle the pelvis. So around and around. And like we did the clocks lying down, but now we don't have the ground to get in our way. And then switch directions. Lie on down. And when you lie down, have a block within reach. We're not going to use it quite yet, but have the block and the strap within reach. Lie down on your back. And come back to, that's Sunny the parrot saying hi if you heard her. She likes to join in the party, in the fun. With your hands on your hip points, take your left ankle over your right thigh. Open up the left hip a little as you bring your right knee into your chest. And then circle the right thigh, which is going to give a nice movement to the left thigh bone as well as the right thigh bone. You might extend your right leg up and down a few times, open up the back of the leg. That feels nice. And at any time you can put something under your head, or if you're working on the psoas release, you can even be up a little higher. So the rib cage is releasing. Okay, but now keep the configuration of the legs, and then very slowly begin to take your left foot out to the right. Bring your right foot onto the floor as you do that. And as the left foot goes to the right, let that come into your lower belly. Upper body spirals to the left. Reach nice and long for your left arm. Now to come up, press down with your right foot. Use the right leg to lift up. Good, and then release. And second side. Right ankle over the left thigh, left knee towards your chest. And then you circle it around. Switch directions. And then begin to take your right leg over to the left. Let the left foot come on the ground. Spiraling. And then to come up, use the left leg to lift the both legs up. And wiggle your toes a little bit. Grab your strap. Grab the block. Take the block to the outside of your left hip. And then, let's keep the knees bent. Let's take the strap around your left foot. Extend the leg up and away. Press your foot into the strap, strap in the foot, and take the leg a little forward and back a few times. Getting a little opening, a little attention to the calf muscle, hamstring muscle. You may notice that if you bring the leg pretty far in towards your chest, you're going to round the back. Let's allow that to happen for today. Let the back round, and then come back to neutral as the leg goes away from your chest. As you do this, don't press your right foot into the ground. Just let it be where it is. Okay, now let's make the movement without the roundness in the spine. So keep the spine where it is. It means the movement's actually going to be a little smaller. So it's just from the thigh bone. And then take both ends of the strap into your left hand. Spiral your left thigh out to the side. And simultaneously take your left leg with the leg straight and your right leg with the knee bent to opposite sides. Let the block be under your left thigh. Just so it's giving support. So this should not be an extreme stretch. What I'd like you to focus more on is breathing and letting your belly be wide and spacious. Allowing for release. And to come up, bend your left knee, and then bring both knees back up. Take a moment, and then we'll switch sides. Walk to the right side of your thigh. Strap around your foot. Foot goes up and away. Both ends of the strap in your hand. Externally rotate the right leg. Simultaneously take your right leg out to the side, left leg out to the side. Breathe. Whoops. Sometimes the strap gets out of it. Anytime you want to palpate your belly. You know, I don't think it's good to try to push hard on the psoas. I think the psoas needs to release more by being in a safe place. Sometimes maybe a little palpation, but generally not. But I do find it, for me, finding it useful to palpate like around the lower belly a little, with varying degrees of pressure. And then to come up, bend your right knee first. Bring the legs back up together. And then go ahead and extend your legs. Just let them be. Notice how your back feels here. You know, for some people, lying with your back straight, with your legs straight can hurt the back. Notice how you feel now. And a lot of that is not because of back, it's because of the muscles in the front. Really, the psoas is very tight. It doesn't want to let go and it puts pressure. That's one of the main reasons why it's hard to lie with the legs flat for some people, which is why people use a bolster under their knees sometimes for shavasana. But sometimes after doing this kind of release, you may not need that as much support. Okay, come back to the first side. Bring your left knee towards your chest. Take your left leg up, and let's let the right leg relax for today. Some practices we have the opposite leg very after. Today have a little relax. So actually, we're going to take your right leg a little over to the right, and then bring the left leg out to the side. You can take your right arm up to the side. So here the pelvis is not going to necessarily be even. If it works for you to grab a hold of your big toe, you might choose to do that. And you can choose where to put the block. And if you feel at some point you don't want the block, just move it out of the way. But I want there to be no strain here. Oh, this is nice. I have the block under my hand. I don't know if you can see. The block is under actually my forearm. So it's helping me hold on to my big toe without straining the arm. That's not holding us the foot. Let's see if I can do that on the other side. Long exhalation. And then to inhale, bend your left knee. Come back on up. And take a moment for the legs next to each other. Ooh, my left leg is longer. Take the block over to the other side. Bend your right knee to your chest. Take the strap around the foot. Extend your right leg. Externally rotate the right leg. Take your left leg a little to the side. And then left arm to the side, right leg to the side. And here, those of you wondering what he's talking about with the arm, if I put the block under my forearm, you can hold on to my big toe. And that actually feels really good for me. But you may want to have the block under your thigh. Breathe. Wiggle your jaw a little side to side. Sometimes tension, releasing tension in the jaw can help with tension in the hips. I think I'm still on camera. I can't tell. Can you see my leg? A little bit off. I'll move over a little so you can see better. And then to come up, bend the right knee, bring the leg up. Do the figure four again. Left ankle over the right thigh, bring the right knee into your chest. Maybe this time extend the right leg and release. We'll do the same thing second side. Right ankle over thigh, bring the left knee to your chest. Extend the left leg. And then Tatrasana. your arms and legs different directions. If it feels good to take your feet straight up, do that. Maybe take them wide. And then bring your feet onto the ground. Take the soles of your feet together. Let your knees go wide, unless you do not like that. So Supta Baddha Konasana variation. Reclined cobbler's pose. And then bring your knees together. Roll over to your side. Let's do a few more cat and cow tilts. Exhaling, rounding. Inhale to open. If you feel inspired to come into downward facing dog, please do so. Otherwise, puppy pose or child's pose. Let's move around in this one. Can you create some movements from the belly? And then child's pose. And inhale up to sitting. And have some height if you find that beneficial to get length in the spine. And bring the soles of your feet together. Baddha Konasana. So again, if Baddha Konasana is like this and very uncomfortable for you, please take your blocks and put them underneath. So the intention is to allow for release here, not to stretch. For those of you who are comfortable in Baddha Konasana, you can do it without the blocks. And I'm not sure if I recorded this before, but there were a few years where I definitely found this position very challenging and actually not beneficial when I was having some hip issues. Especially on one side, it was kind of stuck. So don't ever force this position. It took time, and now clearly I'm feeling a lot better in it. And I'm hoping the same for you. Okay, from here, Upavista Konasana. Take your legs wide. So Upavista isn't necessarily taking them as wide as you can. It's taking them wide so that they're in line with the hip joint. Reach through the heels. And then perhaps hinge forward a little bit. Keep the thighs in the same place. Be careful to not let the thighs roll forward when you hinge forward. Right, and then come back on up. Cross your legs. Take let's go left ankle over your right thigh. Bring your left knee into your chest. I'm mirroring you. Keep your spine long. And so now we're doing a lot of spaciousness in the belly, but to access the belly, sometimes it's really nice to twist in there and then release. So you draw your knee in towards your chest. Sunny, you want to say hi to everybody in the recording? Okay. Next exhalation, begin to spiral to your left. Now, don't use your hands to pull you in the spiral yet. Just use the muscles of the belly, of the torso. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. Take your left hand behind your back. And then when you feel like you've gone as far as you're going to go through the center of your belly, check how your neck is part of the pose, your shoulders, and the movement in the upper chest affect the belly. And then take your arm and use the arm to take you a little further into the pose. You continue to inhale, lift and lengthen, exhale, spiral. One more inhalation, and then release the pressure of the arm first, and then begin to unwind from the muscles of the torso. Right, take a moment cross-legged. Let's switch across to the legs. So right leg over left. And of course, if it doesn't quite get there, you can always keep the right foot in front of the shin. Knees into the chest. Spine nice and long. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, not using the hands, spiral. Take your time. Finding the spiral in the belly. And take your right hand behind your back. Let the twist move progressively up the spine. And then when you feel you've come to the maximum twist, use your arm to take you a little further. One more inhalation, and then let's exhale. Back to center. Unwind. Baddha Konasana. Uttanavista Konasana. Maybe with a little hinge. Again, hinging only if your lower back stays elongated, so that your sit bones go back as your spine comes forward. Just to demonstrate what it looks like, we don't want to do this. The sit bones come forward and you wind up rounding backwards to take your head forward. That's very different than the sit bones go back as you hinge forward. Opening up the belly has made me come forward. Okay, I will say I have not done this for a very long time. Having to do, I guess, with my hip recovery. Next inhalation, come on back. Well, just want to share that I have not been able to bring my head to the floor for a number of years because of the hip injury, and I've been very careful to go very slow into it. So this was the first time that I've done this in a very long time. It was something I used to love to do, and it was really hard for me to give it up. And I guess time, patience has given me the opportunity to bring it back. So, just an example of that if I listen to what I teach, I have some good results myself. Thank you. Okay, let's bring the back to cross-legged and take that into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths, then we'll knee opposite knee. Lift your heels as high as you will go. Take your sit bones up and back. Reach your heels back down towards the ground. Walk your feet forward between your hands. Let your knees be bent a little. Let your belly hollow. Draw your chin a little towards your chest. Sometimes that's a nice nerve stretch. Grab a spinal cord. And then move towards straightening your legs. And your choice, if you have osteoporosis, do not roll up. Or if it doesn't feel good to roll up, just come up with a straight long back. Otherwise, slowly roll up your spine so that your head comes up last. And come on to Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet parallel. Take a moment. Roll your shoulders a few times. part of me wants to just end the practice right now, and if that's what you feel like doing, this is a nice time to take a break. Or we'll do a little bit more standing, and then of course Shavasana. So let's start with the feet a little bit wider than hips distance with some hip circles. So forward, to the right, and back and around. And then switch directions. And then take your legs a little wider and do it again. Forward and around. So the wider the legs are, the more movement there is from the spine. And then switch directions. And then walk your feet back together. Go about hips distance apart and do a few circles in the pelvis, which is also good for the belly. So starting with the knees bent, let's go to the left for first. Let's just do side to side a few times, left and right. And then front and back. And then turn it into a circle. Front, left, back, right, front, left, back, right, circle. And then go the other way. Front, right, back, left. Front, right, back, left. And circle. So if you're finding that you're getting quite good at this, you can play with it a little by taking one foot forward. So take your left foot forward and circle. And then take your right foot forward and circle. And before you know it, you'll be walking down the street, circling your hips. Well, maybe not. All right, try the opposite direction with the circles. And maybe step backwards while you circle. And then back to mountain pose. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Reach your arms out to the side. Take up a lot of space. Bring your arms on down. Grab your blocks. Put them out in front. Time for big asana. Arms wide, legs wide. Reach the arms. Roll your arms to palm face up towards the ceiling. Take in the breath. Take your arms up a little higher. Take up lots of space. Bring your hands to your hips. Hinge forward. And then walk your hands forward. Get that length in your spine. And then walk your hands back under your shoulders. And take your right hand a little bit more towards the left so it's in center. We're going to keep the hips centered and come into a twist from the belly. So take your left hand onto your sacrum. Actually, a little more in the chest than the belly right now. But it gets into the upper belly spiral. Chest open to the left. Unwind. And then over to the right. And then unwind. And then if it feels good to let your spine release forward, go ahead and do that. If not, keep your hands on the block. Let your belly hollow. Come up, bend your knees slightly. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come up. Bring your feet together. So after we've created this more fluid, supple space in the belly, I don't want to do any super grippy poses today for this practice. Not that they're not good. And some days we might do a practice where we do this kind of release and then do more strength-based. But today, it's so rare to just let yourself feel that fluidity and not have to go for that strength that I want to offer that. So we'll do one standing pose, which will be triangle pose. We need a lot of spaciousness here. So get 2 blocks and take the block between the OB behind your left foot. I use that at the higher height. So right leg turns in, left leg turns out. And keep activity in that outer right hip. Don't sink into it. But bring your hands on your hips to get the sense of the hinge first. And as you do, really reach with the outer edge of your right foot. So that connects to the side hip muscles to keep them engaged. And then come back up. Now let's do the same thing with the arms. Arms up, hinge and lengthen. Spaciousness in the center. Bring your hand onto the block. From here, take your right hand to the left side of your navel and spiral the belly, spiral the spine, open up into Trikonasana. Even if you can go lower, let's just stay here. Breathe. Find that outer edge of the foot. Spaciousness in the belly. All right, and then to come up, root down with that outer edge of the foot. Inhale, come up. And turn your left leg in. Go ahead, bend your knee, grab the block. And we'll go the other direction with the blocks. Right, left leg goes in, right leg comes out. Put the blocks down. You know, it's always can be a little awkward with moving the blocks around. I mean, one way is to just have a lot of blocks nearby, but that's not always accessible. Let's do second side. So arms up, and then keep that width. Bring your hands to your hips. Shift. Root down with that outer edge of the left foot. Come back up. Arms up again. Shift. And bring your hands onto the block. Left hand to the right side of your navel. Spiral it open. Breathe. And then round down with the outer edge of the left leg to inhale, come up. I like to take one block with me. I'll get the other one when I go. Or this time I'm only going to use one block. So if you feel you want to use less blocks, go ahead and try it with me. Less blocks. We do one more time, triangle pose the other side. If it's a foam block, you can take it with you. Inhale, come up. Shift the hips and hinge on down. Find the height that feels right for you today. Side. Left leg in, right leg out. Trikonasana. Triangle pose. And ground down with that outer edge of the back leg. Inhale up. And one more time, wide-legged forward fold. Any variation, with blocks, without blocks, fold forward. And come on up. You do with knees bent or legs straight. Walk your feet together. Mountain pose. Grounding down to lift up. And then find the fluidity. Being the river going down the mountain. Maybe some fluid hips, arms, shoulders, neck. Just take a little time moving some parts. All right, and then flow your way down to the ground. Lie down on the backs. One more twist before Shavasana. I'm going to be a little particular for this one. So have your blocks within reach. Knees bent. Take the block between your knees. Lift your hips up, shift them over to the right. Now bring your knees into your chest. And what I want you to do is to keep your feet parallel to each other. Don't bring the feet together, keep the feet parallel. Take the other block to the outside of your knee, so be on the left knee. So you're going slowly, so that as you come into the twist, you're really going to get a twist in the lower back, lower belly. Rest your knees on the opposite block and just check, are you still fully in the twist? Can you keep your right and left feet parallel? If the answer is yes, you might remove that block and go a little further. Otherwise, just stay there. And then wherever you stay, let the right foot and the left foot come together. Do it. That should relax. Take your time, longer exhalations. Okay, and then use your left leg to come up. Even your hips out for a moment. Second side. Shift your hips to the left. Bring your knees into your chest. After you shift the hips, place them back on the floor. Take the other block over to the right. Encourage your feet to stay parallel and slowly take your knees over to the right. Let them land on the block. Check, are you spiraling or rolling? Is your spine spiraling here? Let it spiral. And then bring your feet to the ground. If you feel like you have more space to spiral, you might remove the block. But encourage the movement to come from the lower belly. Not just a roll. Not the neck, but the lower belly. Right leg, that help move the left leg. Put the blocks off to the side. And gently bring your knees toward your chest. Take your right ankle over your left. Circle, just really small circles of the knees. And then switch directions, left ankle over your right. Really small circles. And then place your feet one at a time onto the floor. It's time for Shavasana. Bring your hands to your lower belly as you extend your legs. Get whatever support you need, of course. Take a nice inhalation. Exhale through your mouth. Place your arms by your side. And let your breath flow. Let the flow of the breath guide you to Shavasana, to relaxation. slowly and gently, bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. Bring a little movement to your fingers. Bring a little movement to your toes. Reach a little through your arms and reach a little through your legs. And then bend one knee at a time. Roll over to your side. And make your way back up to sitting. Let your belly breathe. And bring our palms together over our hearts. May our movements support a greater sense of comfort, joy, ease, and freedom. Namaste. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed playing with belly, having spaciousness there, becoming friends or with this part of our body, and finding all the different ways that, I'm still discovering a lot, that ways I can move it and connect with it and integrate it into other postures, but having that ability to let go and be expansive is a good place to start. Let me know if you have any questions.